So today's video, I am gonna say now this is a backup video because it was meant to be a DIY today and I broke the main thing to make the DIY. I cried a bit, but we're over it. We have a backup, it's fine. But I'm pretty happy with the backup video because this thing is something I get questioned about a lot, the Weasley Clock. Now, me and my dad built this last year and there is a video on my YouTube channel of us building this. If you want to see it, if you haven't seen it, I'll link it up at the top. You'll see a little white thing pop up. Go click on that and watch that and then come back to this. Now within that video you see me and my dad. Well, my dad mainly obviously built it. I did a lot of the painting and filming because I can't film and do it. I kept forgetting my tripod, okay. You saw us film it, but I do still get questioned a lot about the Weasley Clock. So I'm here to tell you a bit more in depth about it. And yeah, how we made it, where I found some of the things to make it with. We tried to do this sort of budget as possible. It did cost a bit to make. I can't remember how much it cost altogether to make, but it did cost a bit. But we did cut a lot of costs down as well. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you in depth and show you it a little bit more. And all the mechanisms and talk about it because yeah, these are all questions that I get asked about this beauty. But before we get started, guys, if this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello and welcome to my channel. If you love anything to do with Harry Potter, this is the place for you. Join the magic and mayhem on this channel. Hit subscribe because I'd love to have you. A massive thank you to these guys. These guys are my Patreons. They help me keep this channel running just that little bit more. If you'd like to know anything about Patreon, it's linked in the description of this video, along with my social medias. Go see what I'm up to on those. Let's talk about this fantastic piece. Now, this clock took us about 3 weeks to make. It took me and Dad about 3 weeks to make this. On and off. I don't mean like every day. My dad's a plumber. He works a lot. Obviously I couldn't do every day either. Yeah, life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? But obviously every spare minute we had, I was around my mum and dad's, straight on with our project again. Luckily, my mum and dad literally live around the corner. So obviously I was there in like 2 minutes. Like Dad would ring. My dad's terrible as well. And I'm going to tell you something. I had this dream, right? My dad said he wanted to get started with the Weasley Clock soon. So I was like, right. So I was straight on it with Patreons. I was like, we're starting it soon. Dad's said it now. And obviously we'd planned it all. We've got everything drawn out. And then one morning, it was quite early. I woke up and I like sat up in bed and Matt was like, what's the matter? And I remember saying, I need to go to Mum and Dad's this morning. And he said, why? I said, Dad started the Weasley Clock. And he said, he can't, you need to film it. I said, I just dreamt he started it. And I had this massive urge to get straight round to my mum and dad's because I genuinely thought, oh my days, he started it. So I literally got dressed, had my breakfast, sorted the kids out, Matt, because he's like a child sometimes himself. I got my phone, I got keys, everything, and I went straight round to mum and dad's. And I knocked on the door and Mum said, what are you doing here? And I said, Dad started the Weasley, his dad has started the Weasley Clock. And she was like, yes, I was going to ring you this morning. He'd actually started it. How weird is that? I dreamt that he'd started it and he had. So obviously where the video starts on the Weasley Clock, my dad has made the middle section and I started filming, and I think I did say my dad started filming without me, but I had to get that in because that dream still creeps me out today. I do this thing quite a lot actually with dreams. It's really weird. But yeah, so that's when we kind of started it. It is snowing. It's just started snowing. Sorry, I get distracted really easy and I'm really sorry I look a mess today. I feel a mess as well, but we're filming because I love you guys and I wanted to get a video out. So I don't know where to start. I don't know what to talk about first. Maybe we should talk about the structure itself. So it's in, hang on. So it's obviously in 3 sections. We've got our top box, then we've got the middle box, and then obviously there is a box at the bottom. As you would have seen in the video, we started with the middle box. That's what Dad built without me. And then he wanted to get the top and the bottom boxes built just so that we could get them sort of put together and know where we were, because this whole DIY was winged. We did draw up a plan, but there was no measurements and things. We just winged the whole thing. If you've been with me for a while, you know I wing my DIYs. And after doing this project, it made me realise Dad wings them too, so that's where I get it from. We kept going back to obviously a reference photo, and obviously we've got the middle box and then the top box. In between the top and the middle box, obviously we have these little spindles here. So I had to go have a look and a shop around on the internet. I actually found these little spindles from AliExpress, and they were quite cheap as well, which was really, really cool. But I found a load of these on AliExpress. They were quite cheap. I think I typed in like tiny wooden spindles or something like that. For some reason, I can't get links off AliExpress to put in a description, because I know that from another DIY I've recently done. I said I'd put the links, and for some reason I couldn't get links because I got the bits off AliExpress. It was for the Hermione's necklace, but it won't be on there now anyway, because I do have a different AliExpress. For some reason something happened to it, and it won't be on there what I have previously bought, if that makes sense. But it's something like wooden spindles or wood for crafts, things like that. You will come, I did find them quite easily. I mean, if you're wanting any of these, I mean, these would be quite cool. You could make wands. You could have them as like a wand handle. Oh my days, I have some left. That's gave me ideas. Oh, the bin man's outside. I'm sorry if you can hear a lorry. So anyway, so yeah, we had to have these spindles, but we didn't want the top box just resting on the spindles. So my dad did make just another little shelf. There are so many pieces to this clock. It's unbelievable. So yeah, my dad obviously made another shelf for the top box to rest on. And obviously with the top box, this was the hardest one, because obviously he had to cut these. Now this door does open. I haven't opened it in a long time, and I think it's stuck. Hang on. I can't seem to get this open at the minute. It's opening up at the top, but it's not here. It's kind of seized. I'm gonna have to get Dad to look at that, but it does open up. And inside here, my dad has screwed, there's 2 pairs of hairdressing scissors that I got off eBay. And obviously I found 4 photos of me, Matt and the boys. And we my dad obviously angled them where I wanted them. I wanted to be in the forest because I do love the dark forest. Declan's at home because he's always at home in his bedroom on his PlayStation. And then we've got Matt at Quidditch, and Jamie's in Mortal Peril for some reason. Now, the clock face itself was literally just printed off the internet, and obviously I did find this piece too on the internet and just printed it off. This backing paper, it's literally, my mum had it. My mum does card making, and she had these backing papers. So me and Dad looked through this book of backing papers to try and find one that would look nice on the clock. Obviously we found the this nice dragonfly one, which we really liked and thought worked well. So we added that, and obviously we added it at the top here too. Obviously the door itself is just on hinges. And then we do have it. Honestly, this it does open, and it's bugging me. I'm gonna have to try and open it now. Okay, I have managed to open her up. This hasn't been open for a while, literally. Okay, so on the top, we needed to round this up. This is like a PVC, so I had to go get some PVC, and it's quite flexible, and my dad just sort of screwed it in, and then we managed to get hold of some blue fabric just to put on top of the plastic that we used. I will say now there is a crack. I don't know if you can see, you can't see. There is a crack in the plastic because yes, it was quite flexible, but it was also fragile. But we do have a little hidey hole here, so that's really cool. It could act as a safe. I could hide my Gringotts coins in there. And obviously here's the other side of the door. It needs a bit of a clean. I'm sorry about that. But those scissors, I think, were less than £2 a pair off eBay. Just stainless steel hairdressing scissors. And all my dad did was screw them into the board. But obviously before he screwed it tight, he made sure all the hands were where we wanted them. Moving down to the middle section, and what we did, obviously it's a oblong box. These are spindles, because if you look at the Weasley clock, it has some sort of spindles. They are different to the Weasley clock spindles, but we've made it our own. It's our own unique version of the clock. Plus, we couldn't find the spindles that were used on the actual Weasley clock. And then obviously we just painted them, and my dad, if you can see these ones, this one is like screwed in. Now my dad wanted to cover all like the screw marks. We've got some little chips in the wood and things like that, and I said, no Dad, I don't want it to look completely perfect, because we know that Arthur Weasley made his house out of Muggle scraps. So, you know, everything was sort of handmade, hand built, and when things are handmade, that's the beauty of it. There is little imperfections, and I quite like that on handmade, that it's not perfect. So yeah, I did say to Dad, no, I don't want it looking perfect. I don't mind screws being on show and things like that, because I just imagine Arthur wasn't bothered about that himself. He was just bothered about something being functional. These spindles my dad actually had in his shed. We didn't have to buy any more, which was awesome. On the bottom box, there is some as well. Is there any on the top box? Yes, there is. We do have some on the top box as well. Now, obviously, these ones are shorter. They are these long ones, but my dad just cut, obviously, those off and just used them. But yeah, there's two this side and one at the back. And then obviously, again, two that side, one at the back there. We've got one on each corner there, and then at the bottom we've got one on each corner there. So the little spindles were from AliExpress, but I'm pretty sure if you could get them anywhere. It's just I was looking on AliExpress at the time. And then the big spindles, yes, my dad had them lying in the shed, but you get them from hardware stores. And I think, like, we've got in the UK, I don't know if it's anywhere else but B&Q, we've got Wix, hardware stores, handyman stores, you know what I mean? But yeah, you can buy things like that there. Okay, so I've opened the door to the middle section, and we're going to talk about the mechanism inside. Now, oh my days, look at me in there. I look like, I don't know. Stop getting distracted, Susie. So this obviously is an actual clock mechanism. I got that from Amazon for about $8.99, I think it was. The rest of it is, oh, well, as you can see, it's all sort of like handmade clock mechanisms. So my dad's a plumber. He has plenty of copper piping lying about. So we have a bit of copper pipe that he has used. I don't even know what that is. Some sort of screw. I can remember me and Matt had to go and find I think it's a pulley, this is called. And then my dad literally just got some wire and he twisted it together just to give it that sort of clock mechanism look. Obviously, like I said, we kept looking at pictures of the Weasley clock itself, so we was getting an idea of what we needed to do. And my dad's literally just screwed it in the top there. The paintwork's not very good in there, I'm sorry. Again, to make the clock mechanism longer here, we've got copper piping, and he's literally just screwed it into the top there. And then this one, we've got some wire going on, hooked on there with copper piping. And this, I think, it looks like a bauble. That is really dusty. Oh my days. That is disgusting, Susie. But yeah, that ball, it's actually off a bed head. You could use a bauble, but that one's off a bed head. But yeah, so that was the middle section. And obviously, yeah, I love it. And then down to the bottom section, this door opens differently. This one's stuck as well. It just, oh, there we go. It's a door that actually comes off. So there we have it. I don't know why he did it that way, but he did it that way. Obviously, it's on by magnets. And obviously, we've got the metal bit on the either side there so that it sticks to the magnets. And then we've got some polystyrene balls that I painted gold, some wire. Again, it's just screwed to the top. And then we've got just two bits of copper pipe hanging here. This honestly was absolutely amazing and so much fun to build. I think mainly because me and my dad spent a lot of time together. I have this hanging here because it suits. This was from my friend Kat. She made me this and I absolutely love it. It's like a Weasley wreath. It's gorgeous. So I have that hanging on that door. But yeah, this build was so much fun. It was also a pain in the bum. But me and my dad literally had the best time filming this, making this together, spending some time together. And we really can't wait for this year's project. This year's project is probably going to be as big as this, if not a little bit bigger. It's definitely going to be wider. But that's all you're getting out of me. You can wait and see. But yeah, things like copper piping, and I mean, you can find things lying around the home as well. I mean, that's what we did. I mean, yes, copper piping, if you're not a plumber, you probably don't tend to have copper piping lying around the home. But there's other things you can use. Look around your home. You can do things on a budget. You can do things on a budget. I am going to show you something now, though, on the middle section of the clock door that really, it irritates me, but there's nothing we could do about it. So there is a lovely crack here. Stop focusing on me in the mirror thing. Look, can't do anything about it. We tried to hide it, but it wasn't happening. We have a beautiful crack in the door. And I'm so sorry I dropped you. Let's carry on. At the top here, if you watch the video of us making the clock, my mum, this owl is from my nana and granddad's house. It was in the garden. It was just white. And my dad found it and thought we could make it look like Errol. So my mum, I painted the owl brown. My mum took it upstairs and painted some detailing on him. And yeah, there isn't an owl on the Weasley clock, but there is on this Weasley clock because me and Dad have made it our own, and it's something we're proud of. It really is something we're proud of. It's not perfect. The clock isn't a working clock, but it's just a display piece, and it's a beautiful replica. And I say this so much, but I can't believe I've got a Weasley clock replica. I mean, not many people can say they've got one, and it's not something you can buy. But we did it. We made one, and we didn't know if it'd be possible, but we did it. I don't think Dad would make one again. I did have people say, could you make me one? I'll pay you. One, we can't do that because we could get done for that, copyright. But Dad wouldn't do it anyway. I don't think he'd make another one again, so I will make sure I look after this one. But it's gorgeous, and I'm so proud of it. And obviously, we come in, that's our bedroom door, so the first thing really that I see when I walk in here is my Weasley clock. And obviously, when we get into bed at night, I sleep this side of the bed, which is on the Weasley clock side. So obviously, I'm laid in bed, and I can see my Weasley clock. But if you do have any questions as well that I haven't answered maybe or whatever, then yeah, feel free to ask me them in the comments or send me a message if you want to on one of my social medias. Follow me while you're at it and get to see what I'm up to on those. But yeah, I'm pleased I chose to do this as a backup video because I do get questioned a lot about this beautiful piece, and I am so proud of this. And honestly, I look at it and it still wows me. I absolutely love this. And yeah, I think because we're so excited to start our next big project, it's making me look at this more, because I'm like, oh, me and Dad are going to do another project again. And obviously I've been reminiscing about this project that we did together. And yeah, it's fun. And I think Matt's going to get a bit involved with the next big project. Matt didn't do anything. It was just me and Dad with this. But I think Matt's going to get involved, hopefully quite a bit, in our next big project, because he's quite excited. He loves this, but he's really excited about this next one. I think I've covered everything. I mean, the box itself, each section, box section itself, is made out of plywood. I can't remember how much it was. Obviously, it's nearly a year ago that we built this now. The doors and the frames of the boxes are just wood. That, yes, my dad did actually have some of it lying around. We did have to buy some plywood we had to buy. Obviously, everything we had to buy, but Dad had some copper piping laying around, and he did have some wood, a bit of wood, to make a few of the frames. But yeah, we did have to go out and get quite a lot of the wood. But yeah, it wasn't massively cheap, but it also wasn't massively expensive either, because we did try and do things on sort of a budget. But yeah, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. So this thing's made of plywood, wood, a lot of wood, paint, a lot of paint. We've used a printer, obviously, to print some. I just literally looked up the clock face. The scissors were so cheap off eBay or Amazon. I think it was eBay. And obviously we just tried to figure out the clock mechanism the best we could with things sort of laying about. Yes, I did have to buy one thing, a clock mechanism, but the rest of it was just things like, even like I said, we've used polystyrene balls. So yeah, we really tried our best, and we're really proud of how it looked. And I think as well, with the clock mechanism inside the clock, again, it's all sort of Muggle scraps, as Arthur would call it. So I think Arthur Weasley would be really, really pleased with our version of the Weasley clock. But yeah, if you haven't seen me and my dad build the Weasley clock, I did link it obviously in the beginning of the video. Go back and go click on it to watch it if you haven't, because I'd really appreciate the love on that video, because me and dad worked so hard on it. It was a fun video to do. It is funny in bits, and you get to see it built from scratch. But yeah, I hope I answered questions that have been asked. If I haven't, again, send me a message or comment on this video. Don't ask me anything on dimensions, because I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, we kind of just winged the whole thing and put it together, because that's how we roll. I do hope I have answered enough of your questions. Again, just message me if you want to know anything else, or comment or something. I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And yeah, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, Potter Poppets.